Give me a drink, bartender.
What's poppin', folks? Dating and development, welcome. I uploaded a video earlier on about breakups. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe first before we get started. Now let's get started. You know, I did a video a while back talking about my experience in simping, but seeing a guy being a simp and calling a girl his queen and everything else. However, I never really talked about my experience when it came to being a simp. And I think every man before has been a simp at some stage in his life. Maybe you still are. And maybe this video will give you some sort of an enlightenment, not entanglement hopefully, but an enlightenment about why you shouldn't be a simp. But the thing is, the world is always going to be full of simps. It always is. And I want to give you my take on how I was a simp and what I learned from it through self-introspection. Such a fucking weird phrase, self-introspection. Okay, number one is simps don't get respect. You do not get respect off a girl. If you're seriously going to go out of your way to make a girl happy, you know, to offer things, not even look after yourself first, to put her first all the time, to put her needs first, to, you know, put her at the forefront of everything you do, she's not going to respect you. She is not going to respect you, because a woman who doesn't respect you is not going to love you, and she's not going to trust you either. You need the respect there from her first and foremost. And the thing is that if you're putting yourself in a position where you compromise your own money, your time, your resources, your energy, you're telling her that, oh Jesus, this loser is of a lower value than me, want nothing to do with him. Now she might get security from you and everything else, or she might choose you just for free validation and attention while she's crying about the other guys who are not giving her anything. She's going to see you as lower value. She's going to see you as a lower value man. And the thing is that women do not want to be with men who are of lower value. Now, don't get me wrong. Say, for example, someone's a binman and they're very good looking and have good game. Yeah, he'll be the side piece. She'll, you know, bounce on the flesh rocket up to planet O from time to time, yeah, but nothing serious would happen because he can't provide security in that. He might provide the excitement and everything else, but nothing else. He can't give her the long-term security. And if you're being a simp like that, you're not giving her any excitement, you're not giving her any anxiety, you're not getting her in her feels, you're not getting her thinking about you, you're not mysterious, because you're too nice, it's too predictable. And women don't like that, because it leads into my second point, that with being a simp and being the nice guy, it's going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you absolutely nowhere. Because I found through my experience in dating women lately, well, I suppose in the past and everything else, being around the block and living with girls, like when I was in college I lived with 4 girls and I live with 2 other girls now, is that you gotta have an edge about you. You have got to have an edge about you, and you can't live in the fear of not making a woman happy, because happy wife, happy life, or happy girl, bicep curl, it's a bunch of crap really. Because if you're there making your wife happy, you're treading on eggshells. You're not really being true to yourself. You're not living your truth. You're not acting how you should be acting because you're afraid. You're pussy whipped. Except a whip is not going to come out of her punani and start whipping you. Imagine that, because that's like some sort of hentai crap. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, you gotta have an edge. I found being an a-hole is a lot more effective getting women excited instead of being a proper nice guy, instead of being a simp, because they can't have their way with you. They know that you have some sort of confidence about you. It's like, oh, what's this guy about? He's a bit of an a-hole. There's one girl I've talked to numerous occasions it's like, I'm a small bit of an a-hole to her, but I can just tell. It's always playful, but I can tell like it's funny to her, like she enjoys it, and we get good kick, we get good banter and everything else. It's quite fun, like. But I think being the a-hole is there because it shows that you're not going to tolerate their crap. That if they were to start acting up the bollocks or anything like that, you'll just walk away. You won't have part of any of it. And the third thing I've learned from my simping days is that there's no self-respect there for you. There isn't. Because if you're compromising yourself, as I said earlier on, to put yourself in a state of being a servant to her, being a slave, that where's respect for you? If you're not going to have respect for yourself, no one's going to have respect for you. It just ain't. And you don't want to be living in a mind where you don't respect yourself, living in a body where you don't respect yourself. Because you have to. Because I think that's the case, because men don't understand their value. You have to understand your value. You can provide a lot more. You can be a lot more. You are the prize as a man. You are the prize. And in this society lately, where, you know, I've come across this thing where it's end all the lads, and this movement that men are terrible. No. Like, it's shocking. Like, it's getting to a stage where people are actually starting to severely dislike men. And it's already happening. I've come across it in Ireland, and it's quite rampant in other places in the world and the US. Because we're living in a society that's P to the archical, atriarchal, P to the atriarchal. But we're not. I don't think a burger flipper, a man who flips burgers at McDonald's, I don't think he's part of it. Or a person like me making a living and trying to live my best life and be kind and help others. I don't think I'm adding part to it. But you see, those who think they're free are the most oppressed. Excuse me. And Esther Villar, I think that's what I was kind of trying to mean. Esther Villar in the book The Manipulated Man quite mentions that. Like, if, you know, I'm not going to get into it because it's going to overextend the video. I don't want a big massive rant. But you gotta have the self-respect for yourself, man. You honestly do. Finally, number 4. The last thing I learned in my simping, but I'm not a rapper. The last thing I learned in my simping days is that you see how remorseless women can be towards men who are nice. Because, like, to be honest, as Esther Villar mentions in women can be quite remorseless, cold and calculating, tears coming down their eyes. They have clear thoughts going on through their head. Now, I know the book can be quite satirical, but it hits a lot of home truths for quite a short book. You see how remorseless women are. They'll have these guys, oh, thank you for doing that for me, you're so kind, oh my god, yeah, let's hang out, blah blah blah. And the guy's head's going, oh my goodness, she might see me for being a good guy, but she'll go off and slam some other guy who gives her the feels. That woman will lead that guy on if he's a simp. Free attention. She'll dangle a carrot in front of his face thinking, yeah, like, if I just keep leading him on, yeah, great. Now, I'm not saying all women are evil in that. No, everyone is capable of doing some serious dodgy stuff, but women be like this though. As Hannibal Burr said, bitches be shopping. But yeah, women can be quite remorseless when it comes to this, cold and calculated. You can give a woman everything and she'll still go. Richard Branson, what was it, his wife nearly passed away and he donated a kidney. She bonked off. She had take care of Garnier. Good luck to you. They can be quite remorseless. You give them everything they want, they're gone. And you're left shattered thinking, I gave her everything she wanted and needed, why she go? Because you became too nice? Because you're too much of a simp? Now I know the definition of simp has been, you know, tossed and turned and flipped and slammed and bammed and whammed and glammed over the last while. But I know it's to do with, like, you know, being in a subservient position, hoping that a woman will notice you for doing all this stuff to her because you're idolizing that mediocre regime. But man, simping really taught me. And it's what kind of caused my heartbreak as well. That's what caused me to get into all this stuff, because I was acting like a simp, and I got burnt. That heartbreak led to me thinking, okay, women aren't all as cracked up as they're meant to be. Time to investigate. Time to do some research. Time to read some Rollo. Time to read some Corey Wayne. Watch some AMS, whatever. Get into it. And that's what really led me into it. Because before I wrap this up, I think that every man should be heartbroken, as bad as that sounds. But I think being heartbroken is a rite of passage, because it really opens up your freaking eyes to how the world is and how women can be towards men. I know, I'm not saying I dislike women, because I don't. I do not dislike women. I love the ladies. In fact, I nearly love them a bit too much when, you know, things go right. Not in a simple way, but if you know what I mean. Just like the girl. I like the girls. What man doesn't like a nice soft body beside him? Anyways, carrying on. Being heartbroken really opens up your eyes. Opens up your eyes to how things can be. Opens up your eyes to how, you know, remorseless women can be. How cold they can be too. And that it realizes that even though you might try everything to make a person happy, it's not going to always work. And it won't work. Because being a bit of an a-hole tends to work a small bit more. Simping does not work. She's never going to respect you. But anyways, I think men need to be heartbroken. I think it's a rite of passage into manhood, because it really toughens you up. And I think you become that bit more skeptical of women. I think that's a good thing too, because you're not always going to pour your heart into the first person who, you know, brings interest and it shows interest in you. I know some guys will. Some guys won't learn. But I think the majority of men will. And they understand it. They understand it. And simping to me led me to doing these videos. Not today, but simping from my past led me to becoming a person who does these videos and try to help men. And also teach women as well. That when these things happen to men, and you might moan and complain about no good guys, but these are the effects that happens. This is what happens to men. And you might want to live in a world of ignorance and bliss. By all means necessary do. However, men are becoming much more wiser to the game. They're becoming a lot more adaptive to the situation, and a lot more men are pulling out because they don't want anything happening to them. They do not. And before I finish this, I'll leave it with a story about why men are going to be pulling out of the dating game and reasons. That's more of a story than anything. There's a group I am part of on Facebook, and there's a story a chap posted up, and it's about the stunning and brave You Go Girl movement. Anyways, there was a girl at his gym. You know, he said she was pretty fly for, you know, pretty tasty, Eastern European as well, I presume. And he went over and talked to her. You know, he got her number and everything, and he sent her a message. And then things went south very quickly, because she said that she thought he was only using her for her body, which wasn't the case. She was trying to set a date with her and everything else, and what she did, because she jumped the gun so quick, he worked in this in his workplace for 10 years, and she was only on a 3-day trial membership, and she called into management saying, I feel very uncomfortable because of one of your it was in a gym. She said, I feel very uncomfortable coming back because of one of your members. And he's been there for 10 years. And what upper management's first line of thought was, should we get rid of him? And he's been there for 10 years. Now, I can gladly say he wasn't gotten rid of, but the premise is still there. You can do everything right. You can go things by the book. You can act in non-aggressive ways, and they'll still try and find a way to wreck you. Now, I'm not saying all women are bad, they're not, but with today's society and the way we are living, things are becoming an awful lot more dodgy, and that's why men are pulling out, because the false accusations are being thrown at them for no apparent reason. But anyways, that's all I'll end up there for. So men, don't simp. Easy as, just don't do it. No respect. And it's too much of a nice guy. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And remember, be better. Talk soon.